A rocking and rolling. So we have the one and only John Davy in the house, a serial entrepreneur who has set up a multiple chain of different companies, and we're going to be talking about brands, his expertise, and how he's built up with his wife, Marissa Peer, RTT Therapy, and all the other fun stuff in between.
It's good. Should be fun.
It's so awesome to have you here, my co-host, my beautiful wife, Julia, for anyone who's tuning in. So, John, I know I think it's your first ever, potentially. Well,
it is.
It's the main course of today. I know you were on a video a little bit earlier.
That's all right. No, this is my virgin entrance.
Nice.
It's wonderful. And you've come in looking very stylish with your red hat.
Absolutely.
I'm loving it. No, look, we've only just met recently, but I have to say it's been an incredible friendship. That's just seems to have just taken itself so naturally with you and your lovely wife, Marissa, who was here just a couple of days ago doing a recording. So really appreciating it. But getting to know you and your story and your background, there's so much that you have to give from your experience for budding entrepreneurs, for people who are already entrepreneurs in their journey. You've been doing it a long time.
I have, yeah.
Did it start back with jugglers? I say jugglers, but Jonglers Comedy Club.
No. It started when I had my first business was a delicatessen. That was when I was like 24, I think, really. That's the first time I sort of had a business. So I had a business, a great lesson. I had one business, it was an amazing delicatessen. So good, I opened another one and then went bust. So, yeah.
Why? Not eating all the food, I hope.
Why? I believed I could walk on water. So that didn't serve me well. So anyway, I chose another area. And I really thought it was the success of the first one was to do with my sort of magnetic personality and the fact I could cut smoked salmon like beautifully. And it turned out that I just put a delicatessen in a very wealthy establishment. And so when I moved it, that didn't work at all. At all. Anyway, so it was good. It taught me a lesson early. Cash is king. It's a bit of a hackneyed phrase, but boy, is it true. Yeah.
Well, 24, that's young. That's a young age to start a business. I mean, what led you to even stepping into that world? Why delicatessens? Why this?
Oh, I don't. Well, my mum was, she used to manage cafes and things. And, I didn't go to uni. And so I had to go out and get a job like really fast. And so I began managing cafes and then bigger cafes. And then I think I was 18. Yeah, I was 18, and the manageress, a very formidable figure, handed me the keys one Friday night. She said, "I've just been invited somewhere. Do you want to run the restaurant for the weekend?" Well, I was 3 months in, and I had 110 staff coming over that weekend. I said, "Yeah, that's fine. That's really good." Internally, I was just shaking. And so I had, I think the youngest member of staff was about 32, but most of them were in the mid-40s, 50s and 60s. We had about 20 waitresses and stuff, and this young brat was just there. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she bought, mind you, I'll share this one early because I've just realized I've got this visceral memory coming through here. So as I was promoted so early, I was immensely cocky as well. So anyway, I spoke a little bit harshly to a member of the staff, and I was technically a trainee manager. And she said, "Oh, I see. Okay, John, can you clean the stairs?" And
boom.
No, yeah, but the point being, she said, "You'll need this." And then this is the public stairs, so it's not just the back stairs and stuff. "You'll need this." And she gave me a cup and a toothbrush.
Oy.
Oh my gosh.
And so I had to clean it whilst all the staff just walked past me.
Wow.
Anyway, I
what did it teach you?
Just respect people a little bit more,
Change your toothbrush?
Yeah, change the toothbrush. Anyway, look, it's really interesting. That memory hasn't been with me for, 40 years. So yeah, interesting point.
Wow.
It served you.
It did. Yeah, it is. Yeah, you got to treat people well.
Yeah, no, 100%. So then you went from 24, you've learned from this experience, a young age. What was your biggest takeaway from the failing of that business that you were able to then take into your next one?
Cash. I lost that. I could have sold those businesses.
Okay.
Even though one of them was a bit poor, the other one was so good, I had to let them both go on a fire sale. And I think I lost that business for the sake of $5,000 liquidity.
Wow.
If I would have had even the ability to just grab a little bit more cash, a little bit more overdraft, whatever, I could have walked out and actually sold them. Yeah. So that didn't happen. So I had to, and that was terrible. That was, oh God, full of shame. Really, really full of shame. Because when I walked out of that business, someone gave me a job as a sort of area manager and stuff, but it hung with me for a long time, real long time.
Well, what's the shame? Because obviously so many people start businesses and they collapse. That's part of the growth journey. Underneath
that, imagine this as a delicatessen. So underneath that, I got the guy who serves me, the guy I buy fruit and veg from, who's a one-man band. The guy I buy my fish from, one-man band. The guy I buy grocery from, the wholesaler. These are small businesses. So whilst we say, you know, the Americana of all what you needed to have is a bankruptcy, and that's okay, in the middle of it all, you're hurting other people.
Yeah.
So these were real people. These were not faceless conglomerates. Having said that, halfway through the bankruptcy, this is 40 years ago, so you're not going to get me now. I made a point of letting the biggest companies take most of the heat. But I couldn't avoid hurting financially a few people who were my friends.
Wow,
So that hurt.
Okay.
So it's not the philosophical thing about failure.
I see.
All.
It was actually the letting people down.
It's personal.
But you were 24 when people were already investing in you, right? In these businesses.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, how did you manage to gain so much trust at a young age that they would invest into you and into business?
By that stage, I went from running a restaurant to a friend of mine just saw a better paid job as a supermarket manager. And he said, well, why don't you come over here? You can double your salary. And I thought, okay, that's fine. And I got the job there as, once again, trainee. Yeah. You know, euphemism for trainee is eat shit for a long time.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
You know, just a terrible long time. So I did that. And then I still had that walking on water routine, which is, didn't leave me. So I got promoted. I got promoted again. And I remember I was 20. I was 20 years old at the time. This time I was running a massive supermarket. I mean, a real, superstore. I was 20 years old, and the CEO had promoted me above everybody. There was about 18 shops in the group, and this young kid, was running the flagship store, right? And so I didn't make a lot of friends with other managers there.
Of course.
So I came to him one day. I walked into his office and I said, John, I really appreciate this, but I've been working now for 4 years. I just want to take a year off. He said, hang on a minute. No, so I've just promoted you above everybody else and you're going to take a year off. And I went, well, yeah, I've been working for 4 years, John. So I need to go. I need to hitchhike across Europe. And he said, you must be effing joking. I went, no, I really got to go. And I said, will you save me a job when I get back? He went, I'll never employ you again. And I said, really? Oh, okay. Anyway, so I went around Europe.
Oh, wow.
Came back, rang him out and said, hey, you got a job? He went, okay.
That's that walking on water thing, right?
That's it. Yeah.
It served you also.
And then what happened, one of the directors of that chain said, I'm starting up a business. Would you want to come and work for me instead? And that was far more entrepreneurial. It was only 3 shops and stuff like that. So I ran, the first time, a multi-unit. So I was running 3 of them. And then one of the large wholesalers came to me, Indian guy, and he said, I'd like to start a business with you. And I said, well, how does that work? And I just invented this deal structure completely. And I said, so this is how it works, as if I'd been doing this all afternoon. And I said, well, you put all the money in, and then you give me half. And he said, yeah, that sounds like good. I thought, well, I don't know whether I'm not sure I've asked for enough money. So anyway, that was the most successful delicatessen I opened first.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, with this Indian guy, which is really cool. Love him to death. He was named Divyogi. If you're listening, Divyogi, it's I'm here. Yeah. Oh. And so we opened the second shop, then it went bust.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, look, you were young. You never had experience before.
No.
When did it leave you, that feeling that you felt you let people down before you jumped into your next business venture? Really?
I can feel that today.
Wow.
Well, it shows that you've got consciousness, that you're not some kind of sociopath or a narcissist that has disregard for other people's feelings.
Who knows? I've got another 30 years left, so
but you still feel...
You're right.
It's true.
No, you're right. It just hurt because I think I could empathize. That's it. You know, and that's what really hurt. Like, this was a small businessman. I mean, God, there were like the big suppliers, the cash and carriers. They were faceless. They were just like managers. I was like, okay, that didn't hurt at all. Going back to your point.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to your point. Yeah. So that hurt. But yeah, it's not right. It hurts. I don't know. It's funny, I was talking to my friend the other day and he sort of said about this whole thing, and at the bottom of this list of attributes, there's sort of awareness at the top and shame at the bottom. I can actually mention the shame, but I actually understand it. It's okay. I'm just saying I don't want to wipe that out. I don't want to wipe that memory out.
I hear you. It holds you.
Yeah, it still holds you
to place, and it holds you. I guess it really keeps you aware and conscious of when your next investments, that you think about that feeling and that you wouldn't want to do that again, which makes
anchored you,
makes it, I guess, easier for people to want to work with you. Because if you hold that, then I feel like you're more trustworthy, because you wouldn't want to let other people down. Look, things happen, of course, but you wouldn't want to carry that another feeling like this again with somebody else.
I don't want that again.
Yeah.
No.
Well, it's beautiful that you learned that so young.
Yeah, no, it was good.
So from the delicatessen, you jumped into Jongleurs.
Comedy clubs?
Yes, comedy clubs, which were just around the corner from the nightclubs we were running back in the days.
Yeah.
So I read about that. You built the business up, you sold it, then you bought it back, and then you built it up again and sold it again. Is that about right?
Yeah, it was. We had two clubs, and it was really. I think my idea of a deal structure is really interesting. I mean, maybe it's one of the things I like to feel I'm good at. So we had the pub. We had the room above a pub.
Yeah.
Granted, it was a big room. It was 300 capacity, and so we were running it on Friday and Saturday night. And so I could look at this and think, hang on a minute, we've got a great business here, but if the landlord actually said goodbye to us, it would wipe us out.
Yeah.
Okay, so I said, okay, I really need, and besides, it was a great business, but you couldn't sell it either.
Of course.
Because really, no, so this is fundamentally wrong. So I remember the look on his face when I said this to him. I said, so I need to buy half of your business, meaning the pub that I was in, I need to buy half of it from you. And he said, yeah, okay, I get it. So that gives him like tenure, you know. So now we're in a sort of a business together. We both own half the food and beverage, and I own the comedy. Okay, that's good. And anyway, so we shook hands on the deal. We were buying half of it for $350,000, which is a bit toppy, but it was okay. And he said, so how are we going to do this? And I said, well, I haven't got any money, so why? No, we valued the business at $350. I said, so why don't you lend me £175,000? He said, what the fuck? He said, why didn't you tell me that at the beginning? And I said, well, you never agreed to the deal. so he said, well, I can't do that. I said, okay, that's fine. That's okay. All right. And then I let it be known to him a week later that I was looking to move. Right? Now, if we moved, okay, if he got me out, that's bad for me. But if I moved my business, anyway, so he said, I understand you're looking, what have I done wrong? I said, you wouldn't lend me the money. So he said, is that it? I went, yeah. But that's the interesting point. You shouldn't really argue with people in a negotiation. You should just go and do something else and then just let them see you. Yeah. Silence is the most it's the heaviest. It does the heavy lifting for you. Anyway, so he said to come back and said, he said, I'm not going to give you the money. I said, no. Do you see this business actually makes? I think it's making 100 grand. The pub was making about 100 grand a year. Okay. This was 86 or something. So it's
quite a bit.
It's good, right?
Yeah.
And I said, look, you put this debt against my name. Okay, and as I own half the business, every year just put 50 in there from the profits. He said, that's my profits. I said, no, I just own half the company. So anyway, 2.5 years later, I owned it. So it's fine.
Oh, wow.
So he paid it off from the profits.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's an interesting,
So it's like knowing your value, right? It's like you knew your value at the time.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, you've really got to know your value. Yeah, yeah.
How did you build it up, though, to the point where it was so successful? That you were able to fill this room of 300 people?
You've got to work out that the business you're doing is very often not the business you're competing in. Like the rest of the comedy club chains were saying, we're the best in comedy, we're the best in comedy. And I looked at this and I thought, well, this is a game you can't win because they can book the comedy, I can book the comedy. 1-1. Right? And I went, okay. So I said, no, hang on, this is the best place for a night out. That happens to be comedy. So when I worked out who my competitors were and I trained the team, I said, look, our competitors are any organization that competes with us for a big gang to go out and celebrate.
Okay.
So who are these people? It's interesting. Not many, right? Bowling is one of them, right? We're going out. Where are we going? I don't know, there's about 10 of us. We're going bowling. Have a couple of beers, burger. Great. We're out. Okay, we're going out. Where are we going? Paintball? Let's go paintball. We're going out. Right? Now, the decision is we're going out. So I then said, how can you get that? And they're saying, there's 20 of us. We're going out. Now, remember the decision from the buyer is we're going out. They haven't decided where to go. You've been in an office before. We go, oh, come on, let's all go out. Then you decide where we're going. No one says, I definitely want to go here. Who's coming? It's the opposite.
That's true.
Yeah, it is true. So therefore, I went, okay, well, what happens? What works on? Why do people go out? Whether often they go out to celebrate. So I built the whole business up celebrating people's birthdays. That was it. I'd love to say it was harder.
Well, as you said, the silence does the heavy lifting, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah, no. So we just had all community tables like this. Okay, all the food was like fried. It never survived now. You know, I mean, if I could have deep fried salad, I would have done. You know, so it's like, it's all finger food and stuff. And it just goes on the table. Beers were always in a jug. Cocktails were always in a jug. Wine only by the bottle. Glasses and stuff like that. And then when the person's birthday is, we used to come up with a cold bottle of champagne, right? Then put a straw in it and publicly hand it to him.
Whoa.
So what does everyone else do? They go,
we want that.
Exactly. We want that. Oh, I tell you what, when I am going out, I want to feel like that. When I'm going out, special, I feel like that. So we happen to be in the comedy business. But no, we were in the going out business. And the moment we stopped looking over our shoulder for the competition, now the Comedy Store, granted, was probably more famous than us, right? But we were like 4 times its size financially.
Wow.
Okay. But here's the model for the Comedy Store. Great. It was a brilliant organization, okay? Yeah. You come into the Comedy Store, you sit down in a like a theater rake, and you watch that. There's 2 of you. The best thing you could ever do is talk to this guy and that guy.
Yeah, that's true.
Over here. So I went, oh, what's the competition in the Comedy Store? I said, there isn't one. They're in the comedy business. I'm in the going out business. So it's very important when you run a business to find out what business you're really in. Yeah. Anyway, so I did a load of marketing things that just made it very, very easy to work out. Yeah.
Wow, that's really incredible. To get to the point where, I mean, how did you get to that point where it was the going out business? That's what it was. I mean, is this spurned off from? Do you have an influence from your mother or father? Were they in business?
No, my dad was a docker. Just a working class guy. He died when I was 11. So, but yeah, he was just a working class guy. If he had any money at the end of the week, it would be on horse racing. No, dog racing. Dog racing and fags.
Yeah.
That's what my dad did. Yeah, he died of cancer when I was 11. So I didn't get it. My mum, as crazy as she was, actually had management in there. So I used to sometimes go to the shop with her and say, I don't know, really. There must be some kind of influence in there. I've never really thought about it.
There was a drive, right? There's obviously something that was driving you to want to be successful, to want to earn money.
Yes, right. My motivator. This really bombed with all the personal development world. My motivator then, as it probably is now, is to promise myself I can never be poor.
Oh, wow.
I can never be poor.
So you obviously learned that when you were younger. You made a decision when you were younger that you don't want to be poor. Okay. Well, that's it.
Based on seeing what your father, how he was bringing that money?
No, based on we were dirt poor.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah. When he died, she became a sort of alcoholic. And so at 11, I began to bring her up. And so the only way I could raise her was to get 2 jobs. Yeah.
So you had to become a parent to your own mum.
Oh yeah. Oh, the psychologists have had a field day with this wonderful, disaster over the years. But yeah, no, I brought her up. Yeah. I fished her out of a few drunk tanks and stuff at a very early age.
Well, it's obviously made you a better man for it. That you were overly challenged, but you were able to really channel that energy and create such a beautiful life.
Yeah, well, that's what Marissa says. I mean, it's not the events. It's how you react to them. I didn't think it's very. I was 11 and 12. It was the best way to respond to this sort of.
No, you just react.
No, if I didn't work, and I had like 3 jobs when I was 11 and 12.
Wow.
So if I didn't do that. I don't know. I might have had food. I don't know. I definitely wouldn't.
Did you have siblings?
Yeah. Brother and sister. Yeah.
Younger or older?
Older. My sister, who's passed, sadly, she was lovely. She was 7 years older than me, and my brother is 15 years older than me.
Okay, so that's why you were left.
Yeah, they got the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
So they just.
Oh, they vanished. Yeah.
You were like the only child, kind of.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was left with my home with my mother. And her mum, who by that time had chronic Alzheimer's. So my family. Sorry, I'm not. This is too bleeding heart even for me. But is my mum, who was a sort of alcoholic, and my gran, who was completely barking mad. So she was off her face, and so eventually, she went into like a mental home, and my mum sort of passed. Yeah. So anyway, that was how it was. Yeah. You're right. It made me, but it wasn't a conscious decision.
No,
there was no.
You have to react. You have to survive. This is
survive.
just
no.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. But through that, you were able to really. I mean, look, to do that at 11 years old, you're gonna have confidence, right? That's why this walking on water, you're able to support yourself. You were earning your own money. You can then step into this world of business. No wonder you could go at 24 and set up your own company. There must have been a certain confidence that you can support others from being so young, that you could then hold the space. Because I guess your mother is your world as long as as well as your father. And you're able to support your mother, which is you're able to support half the world. So when you stepped into this role where you're working in management above the CEO, because there was a sort of vacuum for you looking after your mother to now looking after all this team, all these people. Because you've had that experience, and now then you step into Jongleurs, and then it went from Jongleurs to your next business venture. I mean, how did it close up with the Jongleurs Comedy Club? What made you then step on away from this?
I sold it. Sold it in August 2000. And that's yeah. I sold it in 2000. So we sold it to a food and beverage operator, because that's what it was.
Yeah.
At the end, we were doing about $50 million a year. And so we sold it to a food and beverage operator that looked at this and said, oh, if I buy this, I can buy a lot of beer. And the guys who bought it was the same guy who actually sold me half of his pub.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
By that time, it'd gone public.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it was very easy. I mean, we sold it out for about 8 times earnings and stuff like that. They were trading at probably about 18 times earnings. Wow. So you work it out. I mean, just by giving us a shed load of money, it was earnings enhancing. So it was just like a deal made in heaven for them.
Wow.
So yeah, that they bought it. But before that happened, we built a lot of other things with the brand. Like there was a comedy club consultancy, there was an events company, there was an artist management company. So I had all of these little things all spinning off of comedy, right? And then the food and beverage company said, I want to buy this. And I went, you don't really want to buy this, right? You want to buy the clubs. So what would you do? Like a beer company. Hey, beer company, do you want to run like an advertising company that concentrates on comedy? Because we were advising Saatchi and Saatchi, you know, for comedy writers and stuff. So we were doing a lot of different things, and we were booking like holiday boats to go around the world with comedians in, and flying comedians all around the world and stuff like that. And I said, look, you don't really want this, okay? So don't buy it. So there's the pubs. Go and buy the pubs from me, okay? Now, the problem was the pubs were called Jongleurs. And all of the other ancillary things were called Jongleurs as well. So I'll take this. In fact, no, I'll keep the brand, and I'll give you a license, a perpetual license to run as many comedy clubs as you like for the rest of the world, and you don't have to give me a penny, which is purchasing it. So I gave them the rights. But don't screw it up. Don't screw up the name. Because if you screw that name up, what am I going to do with my all other companies, right? Would look bad on me. I'm in the middle of a conference with Saatchi and Saatchi. Someone said, Jongleurs have gone bust. I said, no, only this bit. So it's very important you want to go bust.
That's trust, no? You have to trust in someone so much to do that.
No, so I said to him, he said, we won't go bust. And I went, I don't know that. So I said, what I'll do. You've just given me all this money, or just about to. I said, so if you do go bust, I'll buy my brand back for $1. And they went, well, no. So I got up and walked out.
Silence does all the heavy lifting.
Yeah, where you going? I said, well, you're not agreeing to my deal. I said, shouldn't there be a sort of a, you know? I said, well, you can talk to yourself for like it. But anyway, so you come back. So it was comical. I ended up teaching this at London Business School because they loved this story so much. I said, come back, tell what happened then? What happened then? You know. Anyway, so I'm here. I've got the principal here, the CEO, and I got his whole finance team, and I got the lawyer there. You know, and I didn't like him. I didn't like the lawyer at all. It's really pompous, upper crust English person, right? I just didn't like him from the off. That's fair to say. And so I employed my friend David. I said, David, because he was a really international coach, and I said, can you stay in the negotiations for me? He said, yeah, of course I can. I said, what do you want me to do? I said, sit in that corner. And whenever I raise my eyebrows, just do this. That's it. He said, that's the whole thing. It's fine. So I sit there. So it's good to go bad. And I go, what do you think? They can't do that. All right. So I can't do that. He said, I can't do that. So who am I negotiating with, him or you? This deal sucks because he said so, right? Which is a really horrible thing to do, right? And then once again, I was dealing with this conversation was banging on a bit. So this conversation was going on, right? And I knew that they didn't like my way of negotiating. So I turned the volume up. I'd get upset. I'd act out.
Wow.
I go, no, it can't work. It can't work. No, I decided not to do it. I will take it. I take the deal off the table. That's it. Calm down. Anyway, so when we got to the point of saying, well, maybe I'll buy the brand back, and the pompous one said, Mr. Davy, obviously we can't do that. I said, why not? And I said, why not? Because you're not going to go bust. He said, that's not the point. So I stared the owner in the eye and I said, promise me you'll never go bust. Promise. Like this. I did this. That really pissed him off, right? It was a very serious negotiator. I said, did this. Promise? And he said, the pompous lawyer said, Mr. Davy, we're it's a professional organisation now. You can't behave like this in the middle of a negotiation. And I said, so you promised me then, right? Anyway, so I pushed him and pushed him and pushed him. He said, okay, all right, okay. I promise you'll never go bust. I went, see, now you can sign it. Now you can sign it. Because if you're never going to go bust, you're signing something that will never happen. Mm-hmm. So I turned around to him and said, that's right, and you're never going to go bust. The look on this guy's eyes.
It was trapped.
It was like, I don't know what it's like to play chess at a high level, right? But I just went,
checkmate.
If he would have said no, he would have had to admit that he was going to go bust. Anyway, so we did the deal. So, yeah.
And then you bought it back?
Yeah, 9 years later, right? 9 years later, he went bust. Yeah.
Wow.
So I've got the deal Bible full of like Post-its and stuff like that, and a pound coin, because that's what it said.
Pound sterling.
You must give a consideration, right? So I turned up to the new CEO. I went, "There's a pound. Can I have it back?" He said, "That was my predecessor. I think it binds you."
Yeah, of course.
And then I said, "Okay." So he said, "Who would sign that?" And I went, "There." He said,
Voila.
he said, "What do you want me to do?" And I said, "I'll give you a pound. I'll give it back."
Oy.
He said, "I own the clubs." I said, "That's fine. Of course you own the clubs." So, but can you take down all of the signage? Because I own the brand. And apparently now you are in copyright.
Wow.
And he went, "Can I have 2 weeks to do it?" I went, "Yeah, sure. Okay." So he came back and they said, "Well, we'd like to keep the brand." I said, "Great. Now buy it back." So I sold him the brand back.
Wow.
Yeah. But I sold it to him non-exclusive.
Oh, wow.
So you could use that brand for yourself,
So I had a load of friends in the nightclub industry, right? Well, this is interesting, right? So the nightclub industry, it was getting harder and harder and harder, right? And people were turning up later and later and later. And so people were thinking, we're not even opening the doors till 11 o'clock, right? You remember this time, right? Right? So I rang my friends up and said, "What time do you open?" He said, 11, sometimes 11:30. And I went, "Okay, what do you do between 7 and 11? He said, "Well, nothing." I said, "So do you want 5,000 pounds worth of beer revenue?" He went, "Yeah." I said, "How's the deal work?" I said, "Well, have you got 300 chairs and tables?" He said, "Of course I have." I said, "Right. So you've got a stage?" I said, "Yeah." So point him at the stage, right? And I said, "So how's the finance work?" He said, "That's fine. You just pay for the security and all the rest of it. I'll bring 300 people. They'll drink their face off, as Brits do. Okay? And then you keep all the beer and I keep all the money. That's fine." I built 22 of them, right? I built 22 franchises. Well, they were sort of franchises.
Yeah.
And then I sold that as well. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's
Wow.
that was interesting.
And this was before really any social media, anything to do with, the internet was just coming about, right? Where were we in this sphere
This is so
of
cool. This is
marketing and
coming
things like
up
this?
to obviously 2000, right?
Yeah.
We had a website in 95, right? Hello, right?
Yeah.
And we were doing affiliate deals in 98. I had 1 million emails on a dodgy sort of like Excel sheet that someone had to write code for to push it out to email servers like this. I had 1 million people on the list. This is only UK. So, and social media, we weren't that good, but it was very easy today. But it didn't exist. So
that's what I mean.
So no, but email, we had 1 million on the list. So yeah, so that's what we did.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was great. It was great, especially when we got the company back. It was really interesting because by that time I was with Marissa, and we used to go around at night, just like driving around, because we had no real responsibility of it. Yeah. So we used to go and just watch comedy.
Oh, wow.
For a lot. but without all the problem of like, who owns all the staff? Okay, well, I think the nightclub owns all the staff. Who owns all the bouncers? The nightclub. Yes, it's like the best of all worlds. So so licensing is really important, and power. So
Wow.
Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah.
That's it. Who were your top performing comedians back then? Who were your
it's
favorite?
probably invisible to most of the world audience because it was a very. But Jack D, Lee Evans.
Oh wow.
Frank Skinner.
Proper.
They ended up like these guys could fill the O2.
Yes.
But yeah. And that was something really strange about that as well.
Go on.
The importance of brand. It was Jack D who did it. So Jack D could fill a 20,000 stadium, right? But he used to still work at the club, for like $120. Yeah, £120, right?
Really?
Yeah. And so Jack said to me one day, can I have more money? I went, well, no, we pay everyone the same. He said, I've been meaning to talk to you about that. He said, you pay, you're the only person in the industry who pays a bloke who just started last week £120, which is more than anyone else pays. But you pay me that I can fill a stadium, £120. I went, yeah. He said, well, why do you do that? I says, well, because I can. He said, well, I'd like more money. I said, well, what do you think? Why would I need to do that, Jack? He said, because I can make you famous. And I said, okay. So we've got 300 in there. This sold out 2 weeks ago. They didn't even know you was here, Jack, until I put it in the press 3 days ago. So with the greatest of respect,
wow,
they're not coming here to see you.
Wow. Ouch. So you basically gave him the toothbrush and the cup.
Not really. No, I didn't rub that in.
No,
I was just sort of.
It was
saying,
a humbling experience.
I had to do this, and that's the interesting point because we're going out.
Yeah,
we're going out. Exactly. We're not going to see Jack D. We're going out.
It's a different model.
Yeah.
Wow.
So therefore, they don't even know.
Perspective.
Yeah, this is really important.
That's what I mean. When they made it out about themselves, they didn't understand the logic behind it. But you knew what your vision was. You understood what you had. People are going out. They just needed somewhere. Whoever it was going to be in front of them didn't matter.
No,
really. Yes, the fact is a bonus.
Enough.
Yeah, yes, somebody there, but they knew that. What else was there? Going bowling, paintballing.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah. So there you go. I mean, so that's it's just brand is important.
Yeah,
brand is everything. Everything. Yeah.
It's the identity. It's the value. It's the value that you bring, right?
Yeah.
Through your identity.
Yeah. Well, it's reassurance, isn't it? I mean, especially now it's the internet world. I can buy anything, but I choose to buy that. Why? Because I know it's good. Well, how do you know that? Because last time I bought something, it was really good. So I want to buy it again. And that's really important.
I've seen companies, they've, I don't know why Boeing comes to mind. They had this real high standards and they were such a name, you could trust them. And then suddenly people came in and they started making it profit over people. And then planes were literally falling out of the sky because of this. How do people stay focused on the brand and value and people rather than looking at the money? Because I noticed when you start looking at the money, then the brand can sometimes go down the toilet.
Yeah, it's a difficult compromise, but you got to stay there. You got to stay there with just doing the right job. Doing the right job. Was it that Field of Dreams quote?
Yeah.
Build it and they'll come.
Yeah.
Build the right thing and they'll come. And they'll come back.
Yes, and keep coming back.
They'll come back. Yeah.
Because they know that they are important. They know that their needs are important. That they're coming back for something where they are, validated to a degree.
Yeah.
And they build that loyalty with the brand, a relationship with the brand, like a relationship with the personality, with the person.
True. Yeah.
It's a very similar psychology behind that as well.
No, I mean that's massively true with our current business with Marissa. It's like they already know. They just know. They could have encountered that from a lead magnet, sort of a small gift, or a big program. I love that, so I'll love this.
Of course,
I love this, so I love this. That's what it's going to be.
That's a nice way to bring in your wife and how this came about. You know, you've had your history of incredible companies, and how did it come together how you met Marissa and how you both came to work together?
I was in the well, I knew Marissa beforehand. Our kids went to the same school, and I was divorced then, and I was doing a very good impression of Billy No Mates on my own on a community table on Chelsea Arts Club, and then Marissa walked in with a couple of friends. I said, "Hey, come and join us." And then I proposed 3 months later.
Wow!
Yeah, then we were married after 10. I should have proposed on the same day, but I think I might have got a running for the hills.
Depends, you know.
Depends.
Oh, that's beautiful. And what is it like being married to a hypnotherapist, psychologist? What's that like from, husband perspective?
It's wonderful because, at least since I was right. She's woken up. There you go.
I didn't realise that John Davy was also a hypnotherapist, and she's put Marissa to sleep.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful because she's aware, self-aware. So that's
doesn't just sleep through the night yet, so he wakes me up.
So it's like a mature relationship, right? Because like in the beginning, so we're talking about with Marissa as well before, there's a starter marriage where you kind of have all of your wounds projected onto the other person, they project onto you. You have this kind of like butting heads.
That's fair to say. Yeah.
It's usually quite a tough learning ground. And then, when you step into a relationship like what I feel me and Alex have, of a mature kind of understanding that that the other person is not there to kind of compete with you or try to take you down for their own self. So, there's a different depth to that relationship. It's obviously a different quality of living then, right? Because then you're not butting heads all the time. You're not wasting your energy on fights. You're growing together.
That's it. No, yeah, we've got that, absolutely. But that comes from, all of the mistakes of the past, I mean,
to appreciate it because of the past mistakes.
The start of marriage and stuff like that, because I was, I must have been a nightmare.
You say must in the present tense.
I must have been. Again, of all the things in the podcast, I've never been heckled. This is my first podcast, right? But now I'm being heckled to the right.
Heckled by your wife.
From a world-class therapist.
Amazing.
There you go.
Well, this is it. When you come from past relationships and any of experience, what it is you do want, and it is bringing you closer and closer to that. And I'm seeing you both together and how you are, and how the fact you're able to make decisions and how you navigate your surroundings. It's really incredible to see and to be around you guys because we're learning so much.
Yeah, it's lovely to hear. Thank you.
You inspire us.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. And this is why we're putting all this together. It's because it's one thing people are teaching it, but people live it. You know, and we see it in your actions, and you walk what you talk, which is beautiful. But it was a funny story of when you guys met. It took a little while before you realised what she did and what you could have actually. What you can bring to the table and how you joined together. Do you want to share that little?
Yeah, well, I was a marketer, so that's what I did. I was, busy being a marketer, really. Because after selling the business, then we went into owning pubs and property and stuff like that, and that was just a shit show in the end. But that collided with the 2009. Sort of property failure, and so it was just, my only defense of that is a lot of really clever people went down with me, and I think that's different. See, I didn't hurt anybody, I didn't hurt myself, and whatever. That was
global.
Yeah, that was global. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot your question.
That's right. But what? So going back to what you just said there, what was it that? What were you tied up in? And this is properties. And
I was buying. I was buying pubs. buying pubs and flipping them and making restaurants and flipping them. And, it worked. It worked really, really well until it didn't. That's a degree of overconfidence I had then,
I think a lot of people did during that time, right?
It was relatively easy, Money was like massively cheap. People would give you these crazy 105% mortgages and stuff, and you could just buy stuff for hardly anything, So yeah, on paper it worked.
Yeah.
But what I missed was the whole commercial property collapse that washed through all of the UK and most of the world at that sort of stage. Yeah. Did
you take a big hit?
Hit completely, yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, a lot. Yeah. No, I was on the floor on the end of that. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Well, like wiped out, and you had but you had something, but your whole...
No. I lost probably about 75%.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what, after this was, you said
2010 now.
10,
yeah, that's when we got married.
And so you got married just shortly after then?
Yeah.
Wow.
So was it the same time, the challenge and support?
Yeah. We had, Marissa had to see all of that stuff coming through and all the rest of it. But it was 6 years later, I said, because she was obviously a massively famous hypnotherapist, and she'd been doing some events too, smaller ones.
Yeah.
I sort of said one day, the true story was simply this, and I said, I wanted to go to Tokyo, and I said, hey, babe, do you want to go to Tokyo? And she said, I don't know. I looked at her and went, what's that mean? Tokyo, Blossom, let's go. And she said, well, who's going to take care of my patients? And I went, can you teach? She said, yeah. Good. Let's start a teaching program. If I hadn't have asked her to go to Tokyo, I'm not sure what RTT would have done.
Wow.
I said, well, what should we call it? Let's call it the Marissa Peer Method. And that's a story in its own right. That's because I said, okay, well, what if it fails? Because she had a tiny database and stuff like this. And so I said, okay. So I went to Eventbrite, created an event.
Yeah.
Right. Went to a university. It was like the Regent's College.
Yeah.
Sorry about this, using Regent's College. Copied their photograph, stuck it onto the event page, invented a day.
Oh, wow.
Well, I didn't know it was going to sell.
What?
Right? So
I love it.
Take chances, huh?
No, so I invented a date. Then I thought the price was $2,000. So we made out of those. 10 people came out and gave me $2,000. So, so it was really clear that we could. Marissa was just an amazing therapist, and she could teach. So I booked an event at the Regent's Park College, and it was called the Marissa Peer Method at that stage.
Yeah,
and we brought in a 4-camera shoot. So we booked the event out, and we called it the Marissa Peer Method at that stage.
Yeah,
it was successful. We booked a 4-camera shoot because we were going to make a program of that. That sold out, which is good. Then 3 months later, the online program, it came out of edit, and then we started to sell that. Then we started to do live events, more live events around the world, and the rest was history. The rest was history. Yeah,
that's incredible. Look, you don't know what something's going to be until you trial it out. You put it out there into the world, and how people are going to take it. But the fact that you look. Everything, happens for a reason. All your experience, knowing brands, the fact that you could be willing to take risk like this, and having, really, I say an awesome product. Your wife's method, works. That's why so many people went to see her. And combining your experience and mirroring it together is really, it's a beautiful synergy. I mean, to be husband and wife doing this together and being able to utilize each other's skills.
So this wouldn't have worked if Marissa wasn't Marissa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Might have worked once.
Yeah, of course.
But those people had a transformational experience.
Yeah.
And so it's very easy to get testimonials. And, from then on, we just built it again and again and again and again. And then we brought in a lot of other talent. Marissa's sister, Sean, has been a big impact on taking the online school and really building it into something that is incredible. Because now it's called Virtual Classroom, and it enables people to learn online, but it's very much not just online. It's a whole live experience online. And that's what really changed the whole dynamic of everything. So yeah, we do both live and online.
So you actually helped build Marissa Peer's brand.
Yeah. But like I say, you can't.
You took it further than just.
That was my job. That's what I did. I can build things, but you can't build things without quality.
Quality, sure.
Well, it's very.
If you expose people to something really brilliant, they're likely to actually tell somebody.
That's true.
Our job as a marketer is to get them there once and facilitate them to telling other people. And then obviously in the middle of all of that is like social, and then social came out of that. Yeah,
we know there's a lot of people maybe watching this, and we know we have friends who are very much in the field of the why. They're like Marissa Peer, but they're world renowned in their own field, but they don't have the John Davy next to them who has all this marketing experience, because it's very difficult for a lot of people who are very good at what they do to be seen and to be marketed and put themselves out there. And the fact that you obviously have this beautiful collaboration, it really is unique. And that's why you're so unique out there. That's why you have so many people who follow. And whenever Marissa will say where she'll be speaking, potentially at our cafe soon, that we'll need to buy any more chairs.
Absolutely.
People can sit on the floor and, we'll figure it out. But there's so many, people. What advice can you give to others who have an expertise, but they don't have somebody who has, 20, 30 years of internet marketing experience next to them? What can they do?
Oh, you don't need. I mean, I'm good, but not that good. Like if you're starting again, you just buy a $9 book from Alex Hormozi, and you wouldn't need someone like me for internet. You might need me for someone to take the right risk. So remember that I'm an average marketer, but a good businessman.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's really, really important. My job is to bring the team together who can do that. So therefore, everyone's got access to that.
Yeah.
Everybody, but they possibly won't do it.
They won't take risks.
So is that talent or just balls?
Yeah.
Well, that's what it is. The entrepreneur will reinvest into their business rather than spend it on anything else until it gets to a place where they feel it is where it is. And I think that's what people maybe struggle with, is reinvesting, knowing how to reinvest and build their team, because they're not business people. They are.
But not only that, it's also taking on this responsibility of investing completely into themselves, and whatever savings they have, they would have to go back into that. So sometimes it's also the level of trusting themselves, how much they can keep investing in themselves rather than being in something, say, for example, that they deem as safer. That's what I think with people is a lot like an issue, don't you think? That the fact that the trusting in themselves, trusting in reinvesting in their own
for some people, I mean, look, for some people, but if you don't have business experience, you don't know what to do. You have something, you're putting yourself out there, you may be charging, but and money comes back, they don't know how to use that money. They don't know how to grow themselves. They don't know how to maybe not understand business so much. This is going from experience of people we know around us who have an expertise in their field, but they're not sure.
But it's tough. It's also tough in the beginning, is it not? Like you have to weather it out for a while until you become well known, no?
Yeah, but the internet changed the whole face of risk completely. So today, if you're listening out there, you could go to the internet and find out how to market. You could buy a couple of books. If I was giving a shout out, I'd buy Donald Miller's Story Brand, and I'd buy Alex and Moses, and so therefore you got messaging and you got that. So let's just take that out of the way. Okay. Yeah. Then you got to go and find out. You got to have find a burning pain. A burning pain at the moment with Marissa is, I'm either unhappy or I'm unfulfilled, or I'm not enough, or I'm depressed, or I'm overweight. I've got an addiction. I've got a phobia. Okay, so choosing a marketplace to live in is very important. It's really helpful if you like that marketplace. Or it's really helpful if you have a world-class expert like Marissa. I'd be able to do that. And so if you've got that, the next job is expressing that the solution for that. Now, the thing about this is, we spend sort of millions on media, but back in the day we didn't. We had myself, Marissa, and a PA, and I said, "Where's this thing called Facebook?" So I said, "I think there's a thing called a lead magnet, babe. Can you do something?" It's just, I said, "What?" And I think it was Marissa invented this. She invented an audio called Lovability, right? And I said, "Right, so how's this work? You put it on the internet, people give you an email, and you tell them more about this." I'd love to say it's more complicated, but that's the process, right? But choosing it was Lovability is super smart. Writing that email takes some talent. And so, look, it can be hard, but I don't want to big up the fact of there's enough free advice out there to actually make it work. And here's the interesting point, right? It's almost eradicated the risk. So therefore, before I want to have a shop. Well, all of a sudden, I'm in the high street. I've just done 150 grand as a fit out, and it's crickets. Nobody's there. What's the worst thing that happened today? I did $19 for a website, $15 for an event page. I'm $35 down. So I want to say that if you're out there, you can nickel and dime it because the message is bigger than the method.
Or in your case, find somebody else to put the money in.
Well, yeah, but it didn't do it at the time. I had to type in, what the hell is this? I was running a Facebook campaign. It frightened the life out of me. Look, I just put money in, and then look, a lead comes out.
Yeah.
Look, now what do I do? Hang on, what do I have to read? Right, right. Now what do I do? I'll send them something. Right, what do I do? Send what should we send them? Well, she's going to write that. Yeah.
But then the competition goes higher, right?
There's no competition for Marissa.
For sure. But I'm saying in general for people who are, like, as we said in the example, that somebody wants to bring their name out there. And it's so much easier to do so now. It doesn't, like you said, doesn't require much. So there's every Tom, Dick and Harry, if they can kind of fake it or make it, there's a lot of people who are not genuine with what they offer, but they make it look so genuine because it's so easy to do so now.
Okay. Let me agree and disagree with you. So that's absolutely true until they purchased it once. Now, the fake it, make it guys. Okay, well, I bought it. Okay, I've given you $17, and truly this was awful. Deal done, right? Now, if you are brilliant at giving value, okay, then fake it till you make it and sell them once. Now they're yours. You just got to make sure that what you just sold them moves the dial for them. If that happens, then do it again. And then again. And then again. So the quality of what you do is the most important thing. Now, if you do the radical thing about asking your clients, did they like it? Well, that's a real help. You know, hey, did you like this? No, it sucked. Well, let's not do that again. You know, but however small you are, right? If you imagine that you should, the only thing that you're interested, right? First of all, you a little bit of luck choosing one meditation that you like, right? One. And you get it out there by force of actually a bit of Facebook paid. And then you go to that audience and say, how was it? If it wasn't off the charts, you say, that wasn't my intention. I'm going to give you a choice. I'll give you all your money back now, or I'm going to give you something even better. Wow. Jesus Christ. Really? Yeah. Then you give them something. And now they go, shit, she meant it. This person's real.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, great. So now you've got one customer. You can't retire yet, of course. Now you've got to do it again. How'd you do it again? So, I know you didn't like it first time. Do you like it the second time? Yeah, I loved it. So do you want to give me a testimonial, could you? Because there's got a guy over here. So trying to understand one business model, however small, however ball-achingly hard it is to deliver that one thing, is the thing you've got to do to satisfy that customer. Scale is scale. You can't scale average.
It's true.
Now, I'll give you a point. There's a lot of people that do scale average, okay? But I suggest
it's very diluted.
Well, one time.
Yeah.
Where are all those people who go, this was rubbish, right? That means, I did $1 million launch and I just sold a load of average.
Yeah.
I mean, if you sell something really astounding, what are you going to do? If I sold something that's going to change your life, what are you going to do?
Tell it to other people.
Tell it to other people and buy again.
So therefore, change the argument to how do I scale? No, how do I produce something that's so outstandingly bloody brilliant that I get people coming on the phone and going, what the fuck have you done? You've given me this and it's $17. Well, what's going on? You know, once again, hats off to Alex Amosi, if you're out there, right? He's got this expression and it's... you make them an offer that they would have to be crazy to refuse.
Yeah.
Now, crazy can be money.
Yeah.
They're just making it low money. That's not crazy. We're making it an astounding product. That's so when people sort of say, is it hard to start? It's almost impossible to start unless you're prepared to walk across hot glass with the standard of the thing that you do. If you're not prepared to do that, then give up. I mean, Alex, I just gave you that book, Influence. You know, Cialdini wrote, is it Cialdini? I never pronounce his name right. But he wrote that book, I say, 30 years ago. But it was all about reciprocity. And if you think reciprocity is what you're trying to evoke in everybody, they've got to put their money in. Can I trust them? Give me $90. Oh my God, they must have sent me the wrong thing. This is too damn good.
Yeah.
Right? And what inside, you've actually got this small feeling here of massive gratitude, right?
Right,
massive gratitude, okay? And you can't get that. Doesn't matter. Say, for instance, we're selling something for $100, okay? And it's average, okay? And I've been pissed off with this, right? If I made it $1, they're still pissed off with you. They're still pissed off with you because you sold me average.
True.
You did something even worse. You stole my time. You stole, for $1, I'll forgive you, right? Then you stole an afternoon because I spent all afternoon realizing you just sold me average.
It's true. I've noticed that it's not even about the money. I mean, you go off in a situation and say somebody's scamming you of something and you're not sure if they're going to give back what it is you just paid for. You'd rather just know than wasting your time chasing it. Am I getting this thing or am I not? And it's just more about the time than it is about the money.
Yeah.
So 100%, I feel you. It's just a waste of time.
But you also learn during that time.
Yeah.
Even if you learn it's a waste of time, you've learned what you don't like and what you do like. So
yeah. I wanted to just touch on, you're with Marissa Peer, you've obviously got the RTT therapy. There's so much kicking off around this. But you've also I had a look and saw a couple of other little ventures. Summer Breath is doing really well.
Yeah.
Which is...
that's brilliant. That's a business, that was a friend of business Marissa and I invested in. Soma breath work is really very effective and important. And once again, Niraj, who's our partner, is probably one of the best people in the world in that. And that was just a friendship. And I met Niraj, and he said, how can we work together? And we did a deal. Just did a deal.
But he couldn't refuse.
Just did a deal, yeah. So that's how it works, But the point being is, look, when I sold comedy, it was the best comedy in the world. When we sold therapy from Marissa, it's the best therapy in the world. When you sell RTT, it's the best teaching in the world. When you sell breathwork, it's the best breathwork in the world.
So it clearly shows that you have very high standards.
Yeah.
So if you're going to put your name behind something as this brand, you're going to make it the very best it can be.
I'd love to think that, but it's not that.
What is it?
It's what you actually said was, if I want to put my name behind it, I'm damn near invisible, right? But I'm saying, if I'm going to bother to market something, I want to make it really easy. And the best way to make things really easy
having something
is
fantastic.
to only sell outstanding stuff. That's it, And remember, that's half the battle. So we've been doing this for a while, and then, then the game changed in terms of social and paid traffic and everything, and we've learned a new lesson, We've learned a new lesson that we can be saying the right thing, right? But not in a way that the internet wants to hear. And the last lesson we've learned, and we've brought on some wonderful people, Skip being one of them.
Shout out to Skip.
Yeah. So is about telling the right message in a way that resonates. So once again, can I do that? No. I can't. I'm not a therapist either.
But you know what your expertise are.
Yeah.
You know how to get these brilliant things out there in the world.
That's it. I mean, like I said, I'm, I didn't start Jongleurs. I didn't start, Maria, my first wife, started Jongleurs.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I was just good at a marketer. I didn't start the breathwork.
Of course.
I didn't start the therapy. I've got another business sort of out there that I didn't start either. In fact, I don't think I've had an original idea and brought it out ever.
That's refreshing for people out there who may feel the same.
Yeah.
You know what? You don't have to. But depending on, look, it's like, you can't expect a goldfish to climb a tree. Know who you are, know your surroundings. There's people all around. Just know what it is that your strengths are, and you're okay with that. You seem to have been very...
I wasn't.
No, you weren't okay?
It really pissed me off when I realised I lined up all the companies and realised I had not one decent idea for the whole of my bloody life.
I can't believe that.
I had a crisis.
But saying that, your idea of going to Tokyo was your idea. Your idea stemmed RTT.
I can accelerate things.
Yeah, exactly. You're an accelerator.
I can pivot things. Yeah, I can pivot things, right? But God save us all if I have to come up with the original concept.
Well, you come up with original models.
A model, okay, a business model. Yeah, no, you can take something that exists, which, if it's quality, and twist it.
Yeah.
You know, so I can call a market. I think I can do that, and I think that's the skill. But I'm looking forward to understanding how to. I've been talking for a while now. Maybe this podcast is one of the first things I've done to try and understand what the hell I'm good at. Because it's definitely not invention, right?
Yeah.
Didn't invent it. It's definitely not internet marketing, right? Although I am smart, though. I can hold my ground here, okay? But definitely not the best. Definitely not like coding, computer. And hell, if you've ever received an email from me, I can't even spell, right? So, and you will find that out, right? I apparently randomized caps. I just in the middle of any sort of sentence, I'll just throw one in. And I'm thinking,
that's original.
Could I backspace that?
Yeah.
No, fuck it. It's okay. It's fine. They knew what I was trying to say.
I like that.
Is my sort of savior. But that's the point, though. Yeah. So I'm trying to long answer a very short question. How do you start? You find a burning problem. Oh, I've forgotten who. I've forgotten who said this. I think it was Ezra Firestone, but I'm not sure. He said, "I've got a hot dog stand," and imagine it's like teaching a class. I've got a hot dog stand, and so tell me about the marketing. Who should I sell to? And it's you can sell to people who love fast food. Brilliant. Give that man whatever. He said you should sell to people who love hot dogs. Yeah, that's just really good. He sells to people who like mustard and whatever. He said, yeah, it's like they're all wrong though. He said, well, what is it? He said, you got to sell to people who are starving.
That's just to answer the need. Yeah.
Sell to people who are starving.
Solution for their need.
Don't overcomplicate it.
Yeah, that's a really. I'm sure I've mangled that story, but it's sort of like that. People go, "Oh, we're going to do this." No, it doesn't matter what you're selling. Okay, if you use the fact of I got a problem, and you can solve it. I got a problem. My grass is too long. Okay, all right. So therefore, hire someone to mow your lawn. Okay. And now he's mowed my lawn. He's taken $30, but all the shavings are in my backyard. No. Mow the lawn, take the problem away completely, and then tidy up and do this. I mean, whatever service you've got. And the only thing I will say is what people don't do is they decide the standard of done, which is ludicrous. I'm going to do the best meditation in the world. How do you know? Well, because I think so. Just pack up and go home. You eventually go bust, right? You do the best job you can, and then you say, how was that? 5 out of 10. Oh, okay. Hang on. I've got another one.
So you ask for feedback from the clientele, and not be afraid to hear what feedback that is and not take it personally.
No.
To then use and go, the bar, like you said at the beginning of this podcast, how low is the bar set? But you need to know, okay, I think it might be 10, but they're saying it's 5. I need to see what I can do. They're testing.
Yeah. Going back to Jonglers, it was really interesting. And the VC guys that we were eventually going to sell to, was trying to sell to, didn't believe I did this.
Yeah.
And every Monday morning, because we got their telephone number, I'd invite me, the food and beverage guy, the ticketing guy, the logistics guy, and someone else, and we'd all come into a room like this, and we'd stand, right? There'd be 5 phones, and we'd be all given 10 people, right? There's your 10, right?
Yeah.
And pick the phone up, and I had to train people to do this, because they'd say, oh, I'm George from Jonglers. Could you tell me if you had a really good time? I mean, could you stop leading the witness? Could you? Jesus Christ. No, this is how to do feedback. Hello, I'm John. Can I take a minute of your time? Yeah, I'm from Jonglers. Yeah, okay. How was it? The next thing they say. The next thing they say is the most important thing. So if you say, well, out of 10, how clean were the toilets? Out of 10, how crispy was the salad? Right? What's that? Confirmational bias, right? How was it? Right? So this is the story. I used to teach this as well. So I got 4 or 5 rusty red fire buckets, right? These are fire buckets. I mean, like things that you throw, they were full of sand, right?
Yeah.
Okay? This is going way back when we had things called an office, right? So the key managers had to write down, they kept on going until they got to 10 people, and they had to find things to fix. So 2 things, fix that and fix that. Okay? Right. Okay. So on top of the buckets was food and beverage, comedy, logistics, and whatever. You go, right, that's a food and beverage one. That's a comedy one, stuff. Now, the person then had to take the bucket, take it back to the office, and put it on their desk. And everybody in the company said, don't talk to George. He's fixing something. What's he fixing? He's fixing a comment from a customer. And I used to really get pissed off with this. People would walk up and start talking to people. I said, he's got a fire bucket. It's a fire bucket. Just go with a metaphor just a little bit, right? The place is on fire, you know? Wow. The lasagna was cold. It's on fire. The bouncer was sick on my shoes, whatever. Yeah, security tried to sell me cocaine. Yeah. Whatever, right? And I said, you will fix this once for that customer, but then you'll write an SOP that fixes it forever, and you will not, that fire bucket will not move from your desk.
That's very cool.
That's commitment, you know?
It sounds
because my opinion didn't matter. Yeah, sorry.
It sounds to me that your skill is disruption and innovation. You innovate. You disrupt and you innovate.
Yeah, it could be. It sounds so intelligent, though. But
I think you just see the simplicity.
You perfect the system.
Oh, I'm so annoying with people. To simplify. Oh my God. Yeah. I really am a demon with simplification. It's just, it's terrible. What is that? Who wrote this? I forgot. I quote people. I think it's Mark Twain, maybe not, or Oscar Wilde. He said, I'm really sorry I had to write you such a long letter. I just didn't have the time to write you a short one.
Wow. Yeah,
so
makes
true.
Sense.
Yeah.
So true.
You know? And it's, yeah, So yeah, I'm pushing back, and I'm not humble because I've done some really great things, right? I'm pushing back because it's like I feel as if it's not. You don't have to be that clever. You've just got to walk across hot coals for your customers.
That's what it is. It's the fact that you overextend yourself for the customer life, and I relate. For me, if I hear something back from the cafe that somebody's not had a good time, or we could have done something and it was out of my control, I take it to heart. It's very personal. And I want to make sure that it doesn't happen again. And that's so fundamental.
That's the important thing.
Yeah.
It happened. Shit happens, right?
Yeah.
Happens twice. Not my shift.
No. Exactly.
No.
But that's what the brand is about, isn't it? It's about how the clients relate to the brand. And the brand, like you said before, the meditation, I think it's great. You go and ask people, no, it's about 5 out of 10. And every time you're getting a comment back about your brand, if vomiting on the shoes and all that stuff, and you make it better, then they feel heard. And they feel like the brand hears them. Yeah. And that builds trust. And then suddenly they're having this relationship with this entity, this brand that's listening to them.
It's all about relationships.
And we're learning, like AI, right? It's self-learning because we're hearing it, translating it, do something about it, not just ignoring, which a lot of companies do, and they're wondering why they go bust. But when you take it, because your faceless corporation is something that's like a void, they don't care, they don't listen, and people find it so frustrating, especially banks, when they feel like they have all the control, they don't need to worry. But I think that's what you tapped into. I think that's fundamentally what it comes down to is it's your drive to make sure that people feel heard and just simplifying it and just getting on with it and going next. It won't happen again. Keep delivering a beautiful product.
Do this at $500 a month, $500 a month. It'll soon be 1,000. It'll soon be 10,000. Try to build a $10,000 a month business without doing the first. Go back to school. You don't own the God-given right to be successful. Just go back to school. Just like earn your craft, get some respect from the things you sell, or stop selling it, or make a ton of money, be a scam artist. But don't pretend to be anything else.
Yeah.
There's enough people out there who are scam artists, and your point was, I think I sort of I diminished the impact of it because there are a ton of scam artists out there. I'm just saying that it's really hard to make a living as a scam artist because you've got to be a really talented scam artist all the time. All the time. You've got to reinvent it. There's no wind behind your back.
It's true. There's no momentum.
There's no momentum.
But they just leverage on the fact that there's so many people in the world, and if it didn't work in one area, then they go to another area, and then they go to another area.
There you go. That's fine, and that works.
That's what works.
That's what they say. There's a customer born every minute.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no.
And there's a sucker born every minute in their eyes.
Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, this is why it's so important, and who knows what may evolve from this about creating something, who knows, together that protects people from scammers. And there's a sort of a way of having professionals who are vetted and known, and that people can feel safe to go to a particular area and go, oh, all these people, we know they're trusted and vetted, so we can put our faith and trust into them. And anybody's not, because I think especially now, because I think people just don't know. Like you said, there are a lot of scammers. They don't know how to discern between what's real and what isn't. We've had our own experiences, and we're writing about it now. There's a lot of people. I can't imagine the billions of people getting scammed every single day. And it feels like it's a pandemic in its own right.
And they actually answer to that need. They actually identify the fact that some people might be desperate, they might be inexperienced, they might be going through their own thing, and they kind of identify that hole in them, and they promise and overpromise to fill it in. And that's how you see the scam artist also. It's an emotional hook. They kind of get the target based on the emotional hook because they're so convincing that they've got all the answers. You see. That's what we have been through, and we're still, tying up the loose ends with that. But
but it's being a scammer must be the hardest way to make a living.
It's true.
Well, if you're very good at that, I guess.
Yeah, no.
If you're good at lying,
if you're particularly talented at being a scammer, I'm sure it works. But Jesus, that's hard.
But you can't have relationships. That's the thing. So what you've been describing to us is all relationship based. It's all about building a relationship with your customer, building a brand loyalty, and that comes with trust. That comes with building that rapport, knowing that they're valued and their opinion matters. Whereas with people who are in there only for the short term gratification, they don't usually follow through, so they can't actually build relationships for a long term, and that serves them because that means they don't have to be responsible.
No, that's right.
And they just kind of out of there and then go to the next one.
No, absolutely.
It's the absolute opposite of people like yourself.
Yeah,
really. Well, look, we could obviously. Is there anything else you want to cover, John, specifically that you feel you want to get off your chest today?
I didn't even know what I was going to say before I came in, so I'm not going to.
That's perfect.
So if you hadn't have asked me any questions, we'd have sat here with awkward silence for about an hour.
That would have done all the heavy lifting.
That's it. Yeah.
I like that.
People might have said, he's a bit of a thinker, that John. He just sat there for an hour.
Who is this guy? Wow. That's right. I'm sure a lot of people have been sitting here watching you going through your silence, and suddenly they would learn a lot about themselves. It'd be so powerful. Well, that's what you've done in so many of your deals, and it works.
So,
the silent partner.
Yeah, well, let silence do the heavy lifting. That's good.
Let silence do that. I should be the name of your next book.
That's going to be your coined phrase.
Yeah, your tagline.
Indeed. Yeah.
John, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on, and really,
thank you so much.
Yeah.
Really an awesome man.
Yeah, thank you.
So much you have shared, and it's actually really impactful. I don't know if you realize just how impactful your words are, because just listening to you, I think we've traveled so many different directions.
It's a bunch of words that fell out, and I mean, people they said to me, "Don't give me that sort of pretend humility." No, I really just don't know what I do. Today was a very interesting experiment. I know a little bit more what I do now.
Wow.
Well, we'll do another one, and then hopefully you'll find out a little bit more about who you are.
That'd be fantastic.
Find out who you are on Questioning Reality. John, again, beautiful. Thank you for jumping on.
Thank you
really
so much.
appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.
It was
It's been a real pleasure. Yeah.
Thank
Cool.
you.
Much
Thank you very
love.
much.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Hang on,
guys.
hang on. Do you want to do a where do I find you?
Oh, yes. Yes, thank you very much.
Okay.
Well, we put it at the end anyway.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
John, where do people find you?
I got a website called johndavy.co.uk. Just go there and it'll show you what I do.
I'll put we'll make sure we put the link at the bottom of this as well. And it's John, John.
Yep, Davy.
Short for Jonathan?
God, no.
Oh, it's
My
John.
working class roots would turn in their grave. There wasn't a Jonathan on our council estate.
Ah, okay.
No.
Of course,
It's
it's
just
not.
John.
Jonathan is Jon. I should know. My father's name's Jonathan. I just went.
Yeah, johndavy.co.
Sorry about that, Dad. All right. Thank you.
It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
That's
much.
great.